We should be live now. Hi, welcome to the stream.
Hey, everybody.
Hello.
Hi, Mike. I'm Eric
Hi.
Allen. I'm here with
I know.
Mike Ailes,
Hi.
Anthony Rogers,
Hi there.
and Joe Drilling.
What's up?
What's up, Joe, is that it's the month of December.
Wait,
It is. And what happens in December?
I mean, a lot of stuff. The days are real short, and that sucks a lot.
It's
Yeah.
also really cold, which makes me really tired.
It's not that cold right now, but
It's
sure.
pretty cold. I mean, we got about 3 or 4 inches of snow today, so it's cold here.
3 or 4 inches, man.
Yeah.
Lucky.
No, it sucks. I hate it. I want to go back
I'll
a
take-
month. Anyway, so what else does it mean to be in December?
Well, some people like to give and or receive presents during that time of year, and we are no exceptions here on the Stick people that we are.
Okay.
Isn't that right?
That's true.
It's
Does
true.
everyone agree with that statement?
I guess I don't really. I hate getting presents, and I also hate giving presents because it's all really stressful. But
You should maybe have told us that a couple years ago. We've been doing this for a while now.
That's okay. It balances out for me. I like to do both.
That's
This
right.
is like the 7th year we've done this, or
That's
the
right.
8th
This is
year.
the 7th edition of
Seventh year. Okay.
Mary
And
Stickmas.
you
if that's
ruined it
okay
by
with you,
inviting
or-
me.
Yes. Yeah, we did. We ruined it, but we added 2 people to the. So if you've been following and listening to us for a long time,
Dedicated
it's-
fans will note.
yes, it's
Mm.
previously been just myself and Eric and Kurt and Mike, and now we have added Anthony and Paul Morbid Coffee to the rotation as well. So there'll be 6 of these streams.
We've upgraded your podcast video thing.
Right.
Mhm.
So each week it'll be a different game that
50%
somebody
more.
gave somebody else, and this week it is Anthony received Steamworld Dig
Two.
from Mike.
Two.
Steamworld Dig
Two.
2.
It's very
Sorry.
We
important.
should specify because it's not the same game.
No.
So what's the deal with the Steamworld? So I'm the neophyte here. I haven't played any of the Steamworld games.
I
What's the
hadn't
deal?
until Mike's
All right,
excellent gift.
So the deal is, do you remember back on Xbox Live Indie Games, someone made a game called Miner Dig Deep,
I do
Yes.
remember that.
and it was like it was a quirky little thing that I feel like there wasn't a lot of precedent for it, and it's a game where like you're a guy who likes to mine, and you basically build the mine as kind of like what you do in the game. So like you dig down and you'd set up ladders and things, and you'd make it so that you had a path to get back, and you'd collect ore and you'd sell it and you'd make money, and you'd basically it was like kind of like a
So it's like open world
building
mode
sim.
runner.
Well, no, because it was more about like the economy of the whole. Like you're exploring the ground and you're finding stuff and you're making improvements to your mine and you're buying upgrades and things like that. So it was kind of like I don't know, almost like an RPG in a certain sense.
Okay.
Like in that you're getting better stuff and then you're able to dig deeper and I didn't play a lot of Miner Dig Deep, so I don't know a whole lot about that version. But SteamWorld Dig was clearly made by people who had played that game or something very similar to it, and who thought it was a cool idea. So the first game was a pretty small and sort of relatively simple game where you dig down into the earth, kind of like Eric's doing now, and you kind of forge a path down into this mine. And like, especially in the first SteamWorld Dig, it was kind of a good idea to pay attention to how you were digging so that you would have like a way out and you could get back and forth easily when you're making multiple trips. The first game, it's been a while since I played it, but it was mostly one big chunk of dirt that went straight
Right.
down.
It was
and
kind
then
of like
occasionally-
Diablo, in that like you would go like it was a big dungeon underneath the town that you started in, and you would go down a little bit, collect some resources, go back to town. In this case, it was mining for stuff instead of killing pinata monsters, but. You would dig down, you would collect some ore, then you would sell the ore to buy upgrades. That way you could dig faster, so you could get deeper, and so on.
And every once in a while, you'd find a special cave that you go into that would have like kind of like a challenge to it,
Yeah.
and maybe you get like a permanent character upgrade out of that.
Like I just found right here in this big old bullet-shaped, I don't know, steam robot
can
upgrade
run.
chamber, and now I can run.
And between that game and this one, they put out another SteamWorld game, which we talked about back when we did podcasts more, which was SteamWorld Heist. And that game is super cool, but it's nothing like this aside from the art style. That's like a 2D
Right.
kind of XCOM like strategy game where you like what's
It
the
is
other
a
game? Like
2D.
Tank Wars?
It's a 2D. Like it looks like a platformer, but everything is turn-based, so it's kind of like XCOM but on a 2D plane. And also,
But you shoot
it's robots
enemies
in
using
space.
like Tank War style.
or like
aiming.
Worms. It's kind of like Worms too, right?
Well, yeah, Worms is just fancy Tank War.
Right. Okay. Fair enough.
It's
But
fancy scorched earth.
Yeah.
yeah. Okay. Yeah. All those things apply.
Anyway,
I get that game confused with there's another game about heisting that is actually more like a heisting 2D heisting thing.
Monaco?
With a sort of,
Monaco?
no, I don't confuse it with
No,
Monaco.
are you thinking of? I can't think of what the name of it is. It's not called The Heist, but it's something like that.
Yeah, there's heist is in the name, I think, but it's like a 2D actiony thing where you actually are robbing people.
Yeah. No, that has nothing to do with
Payday.
this.
No. Did I just describe Payday in any way, shape, or form aside from your heisting? Like,
You're robbing people.
You're more murdering.
You said it's like a ... thing. Anyway, so we're not here to talk about Steamworld Heist, but that game is super cool, and everyone should play it because it's really great.
Steamworld Dig
And
1 is also super cool, although
I would say that you could probably give that one a miss unless you're like way into
well,
this.
I would
style.
say
Steamworld?
Steamworld Dig, the first Steamworld Dig was
Yep.
quite like relaxing, but it always felt to me like it was like missing something. Like you had that core loop where you would dig and get upgrades so you could dig faster and then dig more, but it never really felt like you were accomplishing anything.
the Swindle is the game I was thinking of.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Oh yeah,
I don't know that game.
I've heard of that.
I agree with you, Eric. It was kind of like it was almost like a really long demo or like a beta version for what would eventually become SteamWorld Dig 2.
Right.
Which is a much more like fleshed out game with a bigger world and like more upgrades and
the upgrades are more meaningful, I feel like, in this
Yeah.
game. There's especially once you get into the end game, like there's some pretty significant platforming challenges. And like the way that you use all the stuff that you found earlier in the game really is meaningful at the end of the game.
Well, so this seems more like a Metroidvania, right? Like you
It
just
is,
from what
right.
I'm looking at, like there's enemies. It's not just digging and it's all one.
Yeah, and there's-
Well, SteamWorld, the first SteamWorld Dig also had enemies and stuff. Like there was combat in that game, but
What
It
you
was
were
more laid
describing
back and
about like
slower.
a single pile of dirt that you went down is definitely not this game.
yeah.
No, and in the first game, like it really did matter more how you dug because you didn't have the range of movement abilities that you get in this game.
Yeah,
Like, in
I'll
SteamWorld Dig 2,
load
they-
up my later save in a minute here, and we'll check out some
Yeah.
more complicated
In Dig
stuff.
2, they immediately give you a wall jump, and like you can sprint pretty soon after you start, and then you get some much crazier tools later on that make it pretty trivial to get kind of wherever you want to be. So the first game was a bit more slow paced in that sense, and like a little bit more methodical. Whereas this is more of like more of a pure Metroidvania, except that it has, money, and when you die, you go back to town and you lose a lot of the money that you're carrying. So you've got to be a little bit careful if you want to actually manage to upgrade all your stuff.
Right.
Yeah, so I don't know. I mean, I played this game, got it on the Switch, not right before Extra Life, so it was my playing game for the trip there and back. I really liked it. I thought it was super charming. It looks great. It has really cool music. The world is well designed, and the power ups are neat. And so I figured this would be a good thing to send over to Anthony for the Xchange.
I think it looks really good too.
I think I said that.
I really, really hate the art style for the characters.
Oh yeah.
What?
They're just, yeah, they are not attractive to me in any way. They actually look better on this big screen than maybe when I
What
was
about the
playing on
giant
handheld.
crab guy who buys your ore?
I like that guy.
You don't like this guy that I'm talking to with the big backpack and the big old bushy mustache? It's made out
Robot
of metal.
Wilfred Brimley.
Yeah.
It's just not. It's not doing it for me.
Okay.
It's really too bad that you don't like that, because one of the cool things about SteamWorld Heist is that it looks just like this.
Yeah, I know. That's kind of what pushed me away from it.
I definitely, I like the character designs in this game quite a bit,
But I like the rest. I think this is weird to say. I think like the ground and the tiles, which you stare at a lot, are really attractive looking.
yeah.
Yeah, and like
when you
later
see, like-
areas in the game are really
like-
cool.
The ones that have like treasure in them are just like impossible to ignore.
So enticing.
Yeah, exactly. It's like I will divert everything because I saw something glinting over there.
So how's your experience been with the
So
game
yeah,
so far?
I was afraid this was gonna. I thought this looked kind of like shovelware, but when you dig down,
Uh-huh.
Whoa, Jesus.
Nice.
Anthony, you got any more shtick, Anthony, or is that it?
I'll let you know if I find any more later.
Okay, you're gonna mine that
Mine that,
rich
yeah.
vein of puns.
Oh my god.
Or not.
It sounds like Joe might be. Joe's kind of angry about all these puns. He's
Eric,
steaming a little bit.
Or not. But yeah, no, I thought this was an excellent gift because I probably would have not gotten to this, or at least maybe picked it up really cheap a couple years from now, and I'm really liking it.
All right.
I'm having a lot of fun.
Success is not guaranteed on the.
In fact,
gift
it's a little
exchange.
frustrating because you
No.
completely torpedoed my plan to get every moon in Mario,
Oh, sorry, buddy.
because I haven't touched Mario in like a week now.
All right.
Unfortunately,
well, actually, you had to get.
I don't think
some of this-
Mario's that good, so it's fine.
Yeah, I know, but
It's very charming.
everyone's
fun,
everyone's
Alan.
entitled to their opinion, no matter how wrong they are.
It's
Or we're gonna have some words in another month or two.
about Mario.
No, well, I haven't played Mario yet, so I'm
Okay.
not willing to throw in for that one. But about stuff. Anyway, that's not what we're here for right now.
Yeah, we're here to talk about Steamworld Dig 2.
Yeah.
So what?
So I don't know. I like the grind that you were talking. The sort of the cycle of sort of digging down as far as you can and then having to go back. It can occasionally be frustrating if you just. I mean, there are times where I look at my map and I'm like, there should be some sort of, because you get to points where you get basically a spots that can teleport you back to the surface, and I guess eventually you get to the point where you can just do that whenever you want.
You get
but-
to really go home anytime you want. Yeah, but it's
Yeah,
still
but you
useful.
can't go back to where you were.
Yeah.
So it's always frustrating when you feel like you've made a ton of progress and you just haven't gone the right way to find that thing, and you know it has to be somewhere around there because it's been a long time.
True, but it never takes you as long to get back there because you've already
No,
followed out.
it's
the path.
still but it's still, if you do it a few times in a row, it can feel like a bit of a grind. But then there's those times where you break into like a newish area and suddenly you make a whole bunch of progress and things are crazy and different.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm curious. What's your? What has been your guys? What has been your preferred upgrade path in playing Steamworld Dig 2?
So I always go full water because I want to have as
That's
many of
interesting.
those
That's
pressure bombs as possible.
yeah. That's
That is
way
not
different
what
than
I
what
did.
I've been doing.
Yep.
So what's you really like is it the distance or just having more of them that you're
My
looking for?
rationale, well, I mean, all of the above, but my rationale is that having them lets you get to places that you could, like, if you carelessly smash some rock and then you kind of can't get somewhere, then they can be used to punch a hole in the wall so that you can get purchase and start digging again.
Okay.
And they're good for taking out the enemies. I have to admit, I
just
find
make
the
no
enemies kind of
mistake.
annoying.
There's some snails that show up a little later in the game that are pretty annoying. I found most
Yep.
of these beetles are pretty easy to deal with.
Beetles are tame.
The birds.
Yeah, the birds are pretty bad too.
The birds are bad because when I first found them, I had no way to really deal with them.
But then
But then I got the best upgrade in the whole game, which is a hook shot.
Yeah.
just super
And
cool.
Mike knows I love hook shots.
I mean, I think any rational human being loves a hook shot. But the hook shot in this game is a super fun hook shot.
It is. It like totally changes the way I move through the levels
Yeah.
in
Oh,
a
yeah.
super fun way.
There is no cooldown on the hook shot in this game.
Nope.
So you can just use
Does it
it
turn the game into
all the
Bionic
time.
Commando?
Kind of,
Yes.
except that you
No,
don't swing.
yeah, there's no swinging.
Well, yeah, there's no swinging, but I mean it's the same sort of mentality.
it is
like,
the fastest way.
any
to get around,
surface
though.
any surface I will now hook shot into.
Yeah.
And like, if you wonder if the game really takes advantage of that to give you some fiendish challenges, the answer is absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'll get into the mine here and then.
There was a bit I just did today where I was like I hook shot up above
I'll load
an
up
area
my
that
road.
I was probably supposed to go to, and just like inched my way along the ceiling by hook shot, falling and hook shotting over and
Yep.
over again.
Yep.
And then I of course found like a bunch of secrets over there.
Yeah, there's
They're like, yeah, you should have done that.
There's actually some challenge rooms later in the game where you have to do that, and they're very good and fun.
Yeah, where like they line the ceiling and the floors with buttons so that if you touch any button, it shuts the door you have to go through. There's some really tough challenge rooms later in the game.
Yeah, there's been some. There haven't been any that have stopped me, but there are a couple because they'll mark on your map if you're done or not. and
Yeah.
there are a couple where I just cannot fucking figure out what I'm missing.
There is eventually an upgrade that will help you find secret stuff.
That's good.
Yeah. So what have you been upgrading, Anthony? What's your path
I've
to
been
success look like?
I've been upgrading my defense mostly because I keep getting my ass handed to me.
Okay. So
Because as I said, I think I went down too far too fast without
okay.
getting
Without
some of
upgrading.
the upgrades I needed.
Yeah.
But
so that's good. So it's really good because if you're struggling, you can upgrade. There's like a defense upgrade that gives you more health, and then there's also one that will like let you retain more of your resources should you get killed.
yeah, I haven't
both of those
done.
are pretty
I
good.
I had that for a bit, but I turned that back off. But actually, the one that does damage to enemies when they damage you
That's been pretty good.
has been nice because it's saved my skin a couple times.
That's cool.
It's good
I
for
never
finishing
even.
off little enemies.
I don't think I've ever even tried that one.
Oh no.
Nope.
Yeah, it can be nice.
And then I've upgraded my backpack whenever I can.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you see, I find that I was limited by the lantern more than the backpack.
Well, what's interesting and something I really like about this game is that when you're like not having the lantern full, because you can see on the stream screen like the little meter up in the top left, like slowly because your lantern is just burning it, like you run out of oil.
Yep.
So you can upgrade how long that lasts or how big the light radius is.
Yeah, I also just found an upgrade cog, so like you can upgrade your equipment, and then you can also use these cogs to like give you bonus stuff on your equipment. So like
Yeah, and they're
the upgrades that
reusable.
you buy are pretty basic. So you can make it so your backpack carries more stuff, or you can make it so your pickaxe does more damage to the ground or whatever. So
But
it
I
takes
think
fewer
it's got-
strokes to get through. But you can
It's-
also
it's funny
equip
that you
different weird powers on each of those things that like we were talking
Yeah.
about, like with the pardon me, the like the one that lets you retain more of your resources if you die. I think there's also one that lets you like keep like you get some of the money for the resources if you have to discard them.
Yeah, you can sell stuff in the field basically
Yeah,
for less money.
for like half the cost.
But what's neat is that there's a huge number of these upgrades, and you can't possibly have them all equipped at once. But you can kind of mix and match to whatever you have
To
enough
whatever you
upgrade
wanna
cogs
do.
for.
Yeah,
Right.
it really feels like you're kind of like building your own character build. It actually the game that most reminds me of is the way that they did it in a little bit of Diablo 3, but also the first Borderlands game, where you could just kind of like respec and change what your character was and did kind of at a moment's notice, but you still had sort of a limited number of resources to like, make that character build.
Yeah, I thought that was
that's kind
super
of
fun
what-
about that game.
Yeah,
that's a
What
good
it's
point.
really
I hadn't
like
thought
is
about
the
that.
first Paper Mario game where you had badges that all cost a different number of points, and as you went up levels, you had a larger pool
Yep.
of points that you could.
Oh
spread.
yeah, that's
Yep,
right.
that's a good comparison also.
So like I've got an upgrade that will deflect the first projectile that hits me,
Yeah, I have that.
or just for 30 seconds later, and I got a really advanced one for my water tank that just makes it gradually fill up with water at all times. That costs 5 cogs to put into effect.
Yeah.
So yeah, but that's like the
Right, so you can see now I've loaded up my game, and you can see like I have that thing that Mike was talking about, the water pistol. I have a ton of hearts. I can shoot mines. I have a fiery pickaxe, and I just
got the fiery pickaxe earlier today.
I've got this crazy grapple arm that I can just like spam and use. It actually makes you go. So not only does it let you go up really fast, but it also like shoots you up into the air.
Yeah.
Which is
Yeah, you
kind of
can
cool.
use it to overshoot a ledge if you're.
Those are the best.
And then you can also use it to grapple yourself back down faster than you can fall, which is kind of neat.
Actually, it slows you down. It prevents you from taking fall damage.
But does it slow? I didn't think it slowed. I thought it like was faster, but I knew it kept you from. It's like the grappling hook in Just Cause, where it makes no sense that you can grapple yourself into the ground and not take damage, but that's just
it's
how it
awesome.
works. Yeah. You also get I don't know if Anthony has this or not, but you have a jetpack.
So
I do not have that.
I finished the game without the jetpack
What?
because I turned off all the markers on the map,
Oh, okay.
and I just I didn't go that way. Like I just did everything else, and I beat the final boss at the end. And then I was like, oh, I've got some more stuff to explore. I should look around a bit. And when I got to that spot, I was like, oh, this is pretty major.
Yeah. Well, so nobody asked, but the first thing I upgrade is pickaxe. I would just go full. I invest heavily in axe.
Yeah.
I want to dig as much shit as I can as quickly as I possibly can.
I was like, I want to get the most out of each trip, which is why I was always backpack
Yeah.
and maybe lantern after that, because I just wanted to.
So think of it this way: if you dig faster, then you can fill up faster, then you can go back faster, and it accelerates.
But that means you have to go back and forth more often.
Yeah, but
Uh-huh.
that's
I
fine
also-
because it only takes me one button press to dig any type of rock in the game.
I also
Also, you can see
I'm
how
at a
big
point
this
in the
map
game where
gets.
I'm way
It's
more
pretty
interested
crazy.
in like fucking with the enemies to make a path for me.
Yeah.
Well, you get to enemies that like explode when you hit them, and
Yeah, that's exactly. Yeah, I just got to
Because-
that point.
it's super fun because the hook shot will cause them to explode, but it'll send them flying first. So you can poke them with the hook shot, and then they'll fly across the map and explode when they hit a wall.
Right.
I don't know.
I don't know. There's a lot of really fun mechanics that are just really well
Man,
designed.
Eric, this
the
map
game-
is spoiling me hardcore.
Is it? I don't think so.
Well, there's one area I haven't been to yet that I didn't know was there.
Okay. Well,
But I mean, I would have gone that
I was
way
gonna
eventually.
say. I mean, it's pretty obvious when you look at the map if there's a spot you can go to or not. I really
Yeah.
like the way that there's all these rocks hidden in the dirt, and you have to be really careful about like when you dig out from underneath them because they will fall on you and crush you.
Yep, they
and
sure
they'll
will.
pulverize multiple layers of dirt beneath them sometimes as
Yeah.
they fall. So
It depends on the type of dirt that you get. You also get a jackhammer arm, which is pretty dope.
Yep, that one's
I
pretty
never made
sweet.
great use of the jackhammer arm.
Oh man,
Yeah, I don't-
like that's the only reason I care about water. Are you kidding?
Yeah, I use it just because it's fun to use. It's actually
Yeah.
it's actually slower in a lot of cases than my pickaxe, but
But yeah, since I haven't upgraded my pickaxe, I just hold that down and go.
You just still have level 1 pickaxe. You have to hit every rock 58 times.
I think I upgraded it once
you're fucking
so
killing
far,
me,
but
man.
so at least I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm kind of disappointed in the like glowing pickaxe because it feels like sort of a late stage equipment upgrade in Zelda where like it does exactly one thing.
Yeah, it opens these doors.
It opens this exact door,
think-
whereas all the other stuff is like there's 10 different things you can do
I
with
think
it.
the pickaxe also, once you get that, it does more damage to enemies than it did
Sure,
before.
but it's
so like
not
the other
exactly an
pickaxe
exciting upgrade.
upgrades,
Yeah,
also
okay.
they do more damage to rocks, but they don't do more damage to enemies. So once you get this, it like halves the amount of hits it takes to kill a lot of enemies, which is pretty good.
Yeah, but I mean, like, you know, the other things you get like the dash lets you run and jump farther. The hook shot is just amazing. You know, you got a jetpack now. The steam bombs let you get to explode stuff that you can't reach with your axe. So like those all
Yeah,
have.
but they're
more
also
meaningful-
good. They're also good for combat. Same with the jackhammer. Like you can shove stuff away, and you can also bust through different kinds of rock you couldn't otherwise, and you can bust through other kinds of rock faster. Like it was useful multiple ways. And then I got this, and I was like, oh, well, it's orange.
Yeah. Oh well, they can't all be amazing.
Yeah, they can't all be.
There's a
winners,
lot
but-
of upgrades. I
Can't all be
guess
zingers.
I could go back to town and show off some of the. I was gonna try and do this cave, which I didn't quite clean out, I guess, but I can go back to town and show off some of the skill tree.
This is a long cave.
I will also say I really like the soundtrack in this game is really good.
Yeah.
It's done
it's
by
pleasant.
a lot of it is done by
El Huervo?
El Huervo or Nicholas Sundin, I think is how you say his name. He did some of the music for the original Hotline Miami, and he did the box art for
Both of them did, or
huh?
both of them did.
Oh no, that's his stage
Oh,
name
it's the
is
same
El
person.
Cuervo.
I got it.
Nicholas.
Yeah.
I
Yes.
think I can't remember if I forget what his last name is, but it's the same person. But he did
Yeah,
he did the box art for Hotline Miami, and he also did music for both of the games.
I didn't realize he did the box art.
Yeah, he does like his
God.
his artwork is like fucking amazing, and he makes some really good instrumental, like hip hop and synth music. He's like a really interesting dude. That's I guess I don't need any of these. That does a lot of like cool work. Also, Dennis Wedden, one of the developers from Hotline Miami, plays the bass on a lot of the songs in this game because they're
Nice.
in a band together that they do. So that's kind of an interesting thing. But
That's funny.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, so I don't know. I mean, this is a pretty sweet
know, it's
game.
like-
It's about twice as long as the first game was. Like, it took me about 10 hours to get to the point where I was satisfied with what I'd found.
No, it's
Yeah, I'm
it's
sitting
good.
about 8.5,
It-
and I feel like I'm probably pretty close to the end.
And I'm probably at 5. So
Yeah, I think it's. I mean, so like a lot of the challenge rooms that are kind of optional are pretty difficult, but for the most part, I think just getting through the main game, just doing the digging loop, is still pretty relaxing and pretty easy.
yeah.
The controls are really good, and it's just satisfying to kind of do everything. I find.
Yeah,
And there's a lot of use of like little details, like the fact that you don't have to stop the moment you run out of oil for your lantern. Like
Right.
I don't
you
even
can
know what
push it a-
happens. If you wait too long, do you take damage, or do you?
nope. There's just
No,
the
no,
penalty
but
is
it
you just can't see what any
you
of
just
the
can't
rocks
see-
are.
Yeah, you can't see what you're digging through or where the enemies are.
Right.
But like
Even more
it
so,
lets
I
you-
found that the most dangerous thing was not being able to see where the rocks were.
Yep.
Right, getting
Yeah,
squished.
yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. I got crushed in the dark once.
Have you tried that second chance upgrade that lets you sometimes avoid rock smushing?
No.
I have not, because it hasn't been. Enough
I
of
just
a
don't have
thing
enough.
for me.
Yeah.
So you can kind of
I
see
think
what
that's an
It hasn't
inexpensive one.
happened off.
It's
oh,
2.
Yeah, exactly.
Gordon reflexes increases the chance. Yeah, it's 2 cogs, which I have 2 extras, but I was kind of looking through to see if there's anything worth. I feel like I'm pretty happy with my kit right now.
Hmm.
So this game, you mentioned that you can respec. So this is the kind of game where it is not possible, or rather, it would be extremely difficult to have all of the abilities by the end of the game. Is that
I
correct?
I
mean-
don't know if there are enough upgrade cogs in the game. There might be if you find them all.
Yeah, I mean, you can see, like, if you look at mine, I have most of them, and some of the ones I don't have just aren't that useful. Like, I don't have this one that keeps the bombs from doing damage to you, which just isn't a
Oh
thing
man,
for
I
the
always
most part.
use that one.
I
I'm
never
constantly
really
firing
was
bombs
that
into the wall right next to me.
Yeah, I guess I don't
Yeah,
use the
but
bombs that much.
Yeah, I don't use the bombs all that much.
I
Yeah.
don't understand
But I
how you
like
get
Eric.
live.
If you scroll down all the way to the bottom of that list,
Yeah. Oh, these special
I
ones?
yeah, I like there's ones for your like fate engine, which will let you just kind of. Oh no, that's the one that changes the physics of the world. But like, there's one.
Physics?
Those ones will. Some of them will let you change like, the difficulties much harder,
Yeah.
but you get money for killing enemies.
Yeah, that's this one. There's like some guys hidden throughout the world that will give you the blueprints for these ones. This is the Blood Quest is the one that gives you increases damage, but they're more likely to drop stones, and this one makes
Right, and
enemies
it's like it'll
explode
change
when
the
they die.
difficulty, but
Yeah.
I could see when you've played through this game once, if you want to play it again,
Yeah,
like that will get you your upgrades and stuff faster because you'll get more money
right.
and you can probably handle the challenge.
It's also
And I think
it's just one extra layer of things that you have to worry about while you're making your way
Right.
through the mine.
But
I
I
was
think
saying
I
to
like
Anthony,
I
the
like
one-
that they let you do that. Same as it's actually also like Bastion. They had that like you could in Bastion he had all those like temples of the
challenge
gods or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, where you could like accept them and then it would change the difficulty or the way the game played.
But
I
I was
like
saying,
that.
I was saying to Anthony, the one problem with this game is that if I was to replay it, I would be really frustrated the whole time until I got the hook shot back.
Yep.
Yeah. The hookshot's so fucking good. Especially
You
there's
just
a
make a
there's a
beeline for
range extender that you get that's really
Yeah, I didn't want. I kind of hinted at it to Anthony, but once you get the extra range on the hook shot, it becomes like even way more fun than it
Yeah,
was.
I was watching Eric just like shoot it off screen and I'm like, oh my god.
And like you move around in
Need
this game
that.
in a way that you don't do in any other game I've ever played, and it's just super entertaining.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good.
All right,
I
well-
really like it. So I'm glad that Anthony liked it, and I'm glad that you gave it to
Yeah,
Anthony
good gift,
it was a
Mike.
good excuse for me to finally buy it because I've been thinking about buying it for months.
All right.
Like I said, I don't know that it very honestly would have probably slipped through the cracks for me.
Yeah. This has been a
So-
very good year for this type of game. Between this
Yeah.
and Hollow Knight and what's the roguelite one, Mike, that you and Coffee played a bunch of?
Oh, Dead Cells. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a really good game.
Yeah, I picked that up and I played like 2 or 3 hours of it, but I think I'm gonna wait until it's done to really sink my teeth into
Didn't
it.
that game officially come out?
Nah, it's not out yet. It's still on early access. That's part of the reason why I bought it, because it was on sale for like $12, and I think the price is gonna go up when it comes out. So
Could be.
$12
Yeah, that game
might be the
controls
best
so
deal
well.
I can get on it until it's officially out. But
I don't know. I don't think there's any real reason to not play it because there's already a lot of stuff there, and
Yeah.
it's a
Dead
skill
Cells?
it's a skill based game,
Yeah.
So like the more you play, the better you'll get, and there's not really any downside, I don't think.
Ah, I get crushed. Anyway, that's Steamworld Dig 2. I like it a whole lot.
It's good.
It's really good.
Thanks, Mike.
Hooray! You're welcome.
You saved
Guess
the
that's gonna-
holidays.
Oh, they've only just begun.
That's right.
It's
So,
all downhill from here.
I don't know. We don't know what's next week yet.
It might be
but,
me. I've started the game that I got from Coffee, so I should be ready by next week.
Yeah, I played that game a couple years ago, or last year, sorry, last November.
I don't know
Are you
what
not
game-
saying it on the
Longer.
stream?
No, it's a surprise.
All right, then let's hurry up and wrap this up so I can ask what it is.
Tune in next week when we play.
Yeah, was there anything
Oh,
else
I have
that you
played
guys
that.
wanted to talk about before we end the stream?
I just wanted to say that apparently the person who made Her Story is making a War Games, like with Matthew Broderick game.
Okay.
Which is
like
weird,
with
but, like,
Matthew
I'm
Broderick,
into that.
or just like
Just like
I don't know
based
if
on
Matthew
that.
Broderick is actually in the game, but it's
Okay.
based on War Games, and it's from the people who did Her Story, and I think that's dope because Her Story was dope, and War Games is dope.
yeah,
so,
her story was super weird and super good.
So I'm into that. And then I don't think there's anything. Oh, Mega Man 11 is
I
happening.
want to talk
Mega
about.
Man.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
hope that's good. I think it's still really far away.
Yeah, it's like a year away. It
You
sounds
said
like.
late 20.
I think it looks fine.
Yeah, I like
It's
the art
alright.
style. I think it looks like they
Some
wanted
people
Mighty Number
apparently
9.
didn't. Yeah,
Who cares? I don't like. I prefer the pixel art style too, but like whatever. Like get over
who
it.
cares? But listen to my opinion.
I think the style is fine, and like there's not a lot of personality in what you saw in the video, but it's so early that I'm not too worried about that. So
I don't, you know what?
Yeah, I
2D games with polygonal graphics. You can't see me right now, but I'm making a thumbs down. Just like the enemies that they showed looked alright, but Mega Man looks like crap. So I don't know. We'll see how that.
I hope
turns
it's
out,
good.
but-
That's all. I don't.
I'm
don't
actually
know.
just glad that he doesn't look like his design for the new animated series, because I was worried they might do that to tie it in with this new animated series that's coming out. But he looks like Mega Man.
Actually, what was really funny is there was a lot of comments about how when you mix, like, you have a 2D, 3D game, sometimes people have trouble telling the background apart from the foreground. And I was
that's
like,
legit.
I was like, I've heard that, but I've never really had that problem. And then I loaded up Steamworld right after thinking that. And you know the like rocket ship at the top of the town?
Uh-huh.
I saw it and I tried to jump on it to climb it. And I flew right past it and fell to my death.
Nice.
That's not
Because it's in the background, it's not in the foreground.
I will say that
You know what? Okay, well,
I'm really,
fair.
I'm really enjoying that in SteamWorld Dig 2, there are apparently some connections. Like there's some connective tissue between that and SteamWorld Heist, maybe. I haven't
SteamWorld
finished the
Heist-
game yet, but like it
Yeah,
just seems like they
I-
take place in the same universe, and SteamWorld Heist just might be in the distant future, which I like.
They do, and it is. And in SteamWorld Heist, they kind of talk about what happens at the end of SteamWorld Dig 2, and it's like,
Oh,
all
cool.
right.
All right, cool.
Is that okay? So, yeah, if you want to see more when you get to the end of SteamWorld Dig 2, you should really play SteamWorld Heist. It's a super fun game.
Yeah.
The thing I like least about SteamWorld Dig
Calculate
2
those trajectories.
is that the
baby.
whole story revolves around finding the dude from the first game
yeah.
and constantly about how dangerous the bad guy was from the first game.
Yeah,
And like, I
Vectron.
didn't play that, and you're like I'm not
electricity
buying.
people.
You're just like, oh, this guy's bad. Like,
I honestly don't remember the details, but they're they're blue electricity people and stuff.
I mean, I guess that sort of, but yeah, it's just not. It's that's the only problem is jumping into a sequel where it's like 100%. We're just gonna reference the first game.
It's actually really not very important.
Also, Eric, what the hell are we watching?
This is
Yeah,
Battle
I
Chef
was
Brigade.
actually-
I've never
Which I
heard or
finished.
seen
I
it.
really
What
liked
is
this game. This is. What do you have opinions on Iron Chef? Do you like Iron Chef?
It's fine.
How do you feel about
I don't know.
anime stories? Like light anime
less-
stories.
Less into that.
All right. Well, that's what this is basically. It's like a weird anime story set in a world where the Iron Chefs are like also the army.
They're
So these monsters and these people figured out that they could kill the monsters and use them to cook. And so
Okay.
what you do is you there's like the visual novel parts of the game where you're running around talking to people in a town, and then
Yep.
there's this part of the game where you kill monsters to get ingredients to cook.
Okay.
And then there's the third part of the game is when you have ingredients, it turns into like a match 3 puzzle game where you stack different colors of flavor gems and then try to like upgrade them to make the dishes the like best possible version of the dish, and then you're scored on the dish at the end.
Okay.
Man, I love barbecue hydroneck.
Yeah.
Who doesn't really? I mean,
It's a delicacy.
So you can
Not a
see
delicacy,
I dropped
there's
these.
like an unlimited supply.
I dropped these into this pan, these lanterns, and then when there's 3 that will match and upgrade to higher level gems. And then I
Okay.
can drop different, and then as you make more room in the pan, you can add more stuff, basically.
You squish it down, like when your onions have gotten all small.
Right. It's actually,
Okay.
so with the way that the match 3 thing works and the way that you sort of combine different flavors to make the dishes, it really kind of like it kind of feels like cooking to me, like in the way that you can kind of be loosey goosey with cooking as long as the flavor profiles work together properly.
Right.
I mean, it's a little bit more, you know, it's a little bit more loose with that stuff than actual cooking is, but
Why
so, like-
Signal wants to know if these ingredients turn into more of a Chaos Emerald or an Infinity Gem. Is the power of the cosmos inside of these ingredients, or what?
But so like the Iron Chef part is that each of those judges will tell you that they like a different flavor profile. So there's like red, which is like spicy, and then there's green, which is like earthy and then like savory, and then there's blue, which is like I take to be like more of a sweet kind of a flavor. And so what you want to do is try to make your dish fit that flavor profile. So if there's somebody that wants spicy, you want like the highest level gem you can make is a level 3 gem, and that's what the major flavor of the dish comes from.
Okay.
And so you kind of want to make sure that if they want a red flavor profile, that you mostly have, you know, red things in your dish. You want to have more level 3 red gems than any of the other ones.
So I've heard like nothing but good stuff about this game, and I think I would like to play it. I gotta say, I don't really like the way it looks.
Really, you don't like it at all? I like the way. I think the animation is a little rough, but I think that I like the watercolor, like painterly style of it.
I think it's the animation that bugged me.
Blue, somebody wants green. It kind of
Why
felt.
Signal says the food is more effective than Thanos has been in those movies, though. To be fair, which I mean, he hasn't really done anything yet. So
my biggest problem with the game, honestly, was just that like the end of the story kind of came out of nowhere, and then there's also a chapter near the end which is also just like was like confusingly paced. Like it definitely feels like this was a Kickstarter thing that they've been working on for like 2 or 3 years, and it definitely
chapter
feels like
bonus goal that they kind of had promised that they needed to shoehorn in.
Yeah, and they did a pretty bad
job
job
right
of
before
it.
the last chapter.
Yeah, it definitely feels like they kind of ran out of money at a certain point and just like had to put out what they had. But like maybe their original vision might have been a game that was, instead of like 10 hours, more like 15 or 20 hours long. But I still had a really fun time with it. It's just really cute, really positive, and yeah, I think that maybe the reviews are a little bit more positive than I would have necessarily have been, but I still really liked it quite a bit.
Interesting.
I'm trying to think what else. I've been playing a ton of stuff lately. Like I finished Cuphead.
Oh, good.
Joe and I talked about that on Genesis, on the most recent Genesis or Genesis isn't, but man, Cuphead's so fucking good.
You beat that guy that you couldn't beat?
Yeah, I beat Mr.
Yes.
King Dice. I beat the devil, and man, that game is just fucking great.
Yeah, I like that game a lot, just based on what I played of it with you over Extra Life Weekend. I haven't bought it myself yet.
I plan to get to it.
Yeah,
For
and
sure.
just I'm hesitant about how my computer will run it, but the fact that I can return it on Steam, I guess, like I should just buy it, and if it runs like shit, I'll return it
Yeah.
until I get a better computer and then play more of it later. So
Abby-
I beat Bowser in Mario Odyssey, and now I'm doing a bunch of post game nonsense. In
the
that
post game is ridiculous in that.
That's pretty ridiculous. I'm running around as Mario 64 Mario.
Yeah, that was delightful to me.
At least until I can be Skeleton Mario.
Yeah, that'll be a while, I think.
Yeah, well, I did a bad job
'Cause-
matching my flavor profile, but
I mean,
I had to make 2 dishes. I
Joe, if
forgot.
you're anything like me, the problem is, every, I don't know, probably 20 to 30 moons you earn more costumes in all the stores.
Yeah, but I don't care about dressing like Wedding Bowser or any
Yeah,
of that
but
stuff.
there's stuff like Wario and Luigi.
Oh, I bought all those as soon as I finished the game.
Yeah,
As soon
I
as
was
beat
like,
Bowser, all
there-
those opened up and I bought them all.
There's okay, so maybe you just had more, like, because I kept getting to points where, like, every time I hit more, I was like, well, I gotta have that one.
I had like 4,000
I don't
coins when
I don't
beat
have the
game.
Bowser. I don't have the Bowser wedding one, but I don't really care about that either.
The ones that are 1,000 and 2,000 each, I haven't bought any of those. But all the ones that were only like 100, the one like all
Yeah.
the Mario, or sorry, the classic Mario, Luigi, Wario, Waluigi, Dr. Mario, like all
Mhm.
those, I bought all of those right away because I was just
Yep.
like, well, I have like 4,000 coins, so I'm just gonna buy them. And then as soon as it got to like, oh, Bowser's Tux is $2,000 or 2,000 coins, I was like, nope, not doing that.
There are a few areas in the game that I like needed a bunch of coins because I died so many times.
I did a very
Yeah, I
bad
haven't-
job, by the way, making my
Stop
dishes.
skipping the judging. I want to see what the judging phase
Oh,
is
I'm
like.
sorry.
I haven't so now I'm like I'm going back and getting all the moons. So I got all the moons that you could possibly get for each kingdom before I beat Bowser. But then when
Wow,
you go
okay, so
back,
that's part of the reason you had all those costumes from
Right.
the get-go.
One somehow.
right. So then when you go back, it opens up like 5 to 10 more moons plus what's in the moon rock. So you get like regular moons and then you crack open the moon rock and then there's a bunch more extra moons in there.
Yep.
So now I've been going back and doing those. So like I've completed like the first 3 kingdoms now. Like they're done and dusted except for the Peach. There's one, so eventually you get to a point where Peach leaves the Mushroom Kingdom and she just starts going to all the different
Yeah,
kingdoms. You have to find her.
Yeah, she has like a like single girls
Mm-hmm.
global trip.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Yeah,
awesome. She has an awesome costume in each place.
I really wish you
haven't
could just play as Peach
done that yet.
for that
I
part
do
of the
too.
game, but
But
Yeah,
hey, Nintendo,
those I haven't done yet because I haven't done the Mushroom Kingdom stuff
well, I mean,
yet.
there's a ton of games where you
so-
play as Peach, so
I don't know if there's a ton, but there's a few.
there's a
quite
ton
a
of
few.
games where like Peach and Zelda are secondary characters.
I mean, there's
Two games
some of
where
the
one or
new
two-
Super Mario Brothers.
Oh,
New
you
Super
must be playing Mario right now. Oh,
World.
yeah, it says Mario Odyssey.
Um,
Can I say because this
No.
stupid Joy-Con
there's that
thing.
game where she gets like super hysterical, which I
Right,
forget
so
the name.
that's Super Princess Peach, and
She's a
Super
playable
Mario
character
3D
in
World.
Mario RPG.
Yeah,
She's
And
a playable
Pap- and
character in
Paper Mario.
Rabbids Paper Mario, yeah. She's playable in a bunch of games.
not. I mean, compared to the
Mario
number
2.
she's kidnapped is not. Yeah, Mario 2.
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying is that there is a good precedent for her being playable, and this game would be better if you could play
Oh,
as her at the end of
gotcha.
the game.
Well, you know what else? There's also a good precedent for fucking playing as Luigi.
Yeah, no kidding.
You can dress up as Luigi.
Yeah.
It's not the same, man.
Green Mario.
Traditionally, Luigi handles differently.
Yeah.
than-
Personally,
Although there's-
I would
I guess
rather
there's
be able to
also-
play as Peach than Luigi, but
It's also funny that they reference Mario 64 so many times in this game, and they're like, "Yep, we're gonna do the same thing." No Luigi.
yeah.
skeleton suit. Here, I'll buy the Luigi stuff. I'll give you guys. I'll give the people what
Yeah.
they want.
Good. So Abby and I have been playing this game called Clandestine.
Okay.
What is that?
I think that's a co-op
It is
shooter.
it's a co-op stealth game.
Okay, co-op. I know I've heard of it. It came out like
It's like an
3 or 4
indie game.
years
It came
ago,
out
right?
Yeah, it came out a couple years ago, I think, and
It's co-op only, or
you can play single player, but
Yeah.
it's definitely
As I
proves the
understand it,
rule
there's,
that like
there's
you
no
wouldn't
point in playing it single player.
right.
Yeah.
But it definitely proves the rule that like you will put up with a lot of bullshit and still have fun when it's in co-op
Yeah.
that you definitely wouldn't otherwise.
Hmm.
But the gist of the game is one of you plays as a spy. It's a normal stealth stuff. You sneak around. You can shoot guys if you want to. And the other person is the hacker that is like sitting in a van outside of the place. And so as you're going through, they are hacking the computer. You walk in and you can put like remote modems into the computers that you sneak into so that they can hack into those computers. So they can like control the locks on the doors or turn off like security lasers, or they can disable security cameras right before you sneak into a room so you can grab the guards, or they can look through all the cameras to see where the guards are and like mark them so that they appear on your screen.
Nice.
That's pretty cool.
That sounds dope.
It's like it's really rough around the edges because again, like this game definitely didn't have a lot of money. It looks very much like a PS2 game, but like
I've been playing a bunch of Nier Automata, which also looks like a PS2 game. So.
But there are so many. There have been a bunch of moments where like we're like yelling at each other back and forth because I'm like, oh god, there's a guy coming, and she's like, I'm trying to hack this thing, and I'm like, you need to turn off that camera, and like we're like yelling directions at each other in both directions. It's a lot of fun.
Cool.
So yeah, I mean, like it was $5 on the Steam sale, which is why, like I've known it was kind of broken, but have been super curious about it, and so I finally snatched up 2 copies.
Yes,
and,
same. I was kind of curious about that myself.
So it's like you should find someone to play it with.
Does it have online co-op or is it?
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, it only has online co-op.
Oh, it's only online co-op.
That's
okay.
too bad.
Because each person needs their own copy of it. But
$5
yeah.
is a pretty good price for that.
Yeah, exactly. Usually it's 20. It's been 20 for a long time. So finally.
That's good. Well, yeah, I guess I've been playing a bunch of Nier, so I'm having very mixed emotions about that game.
Is it because the gameplay is so-so, but the story's interesting? Or
yeah, kind of. It's just the word. It's
like that game kind of lost me, honestly.
That sounds like an upgrade from the previous one, where the gameplay was so-so and the story was so-so.
I mean,
everybody's like, "Oh, you have to beat the game to like really appreciate it."
It was fucking bullshit.
Like,
no,
I got to the.
To
did you make it to the robot village, Joe?
Yes,
Okay.
that's about as far as I made it.
Okay, so I just made it there, and then that's when I decided that I was probably going to have to finish the game because that was the point where it's like, all right, I'm really enjoying the writing, and I'm enjoying like interacting with these robots and seeing what they're up to.
Look forward to fishing again after that. Man,
the problem with that game is it's just so fucking big. There's just so much empty negative space for you to run through. It sucks. That
was the last one too. Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely feels like a PS2 game in that way, or like Majora's Mask had that problem in a big way.
Mm-hmm.
There was a lot of like N64 and PlayStation 2, like that era games that were like that. Or Final Fantasy 12 is another one. I know that.
Absolutely.
It didn't bother me as much as it did Mike, but it's
Bothered me
definitely
a lot.
it's definitely a problem in that game.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard so much cool stuff about the story in Nier Automata, but I don't know if I have like those 30 or 40
Eric,
hours
you're
that it
killing
takes
me.
to play
Why?
through like the.
Yeah, same. I just got this
Watching
moon.
Luigi.
I just got this moon, and I'm like, oh.
Sorry, I mean I'm talking. I'm not really paying attention.
Yeah, I know. It's
I'm also not really trying to
Because-
finish it. I assume there's a secret moon up at the top there. so
There's
that
a
maybe-
secret moon up there.
yeah.
You have to have
going
like
for
a
the secret
full
one, yeah.
bubble, basically, like to get it. Like
Yeah.
you can't.
You can't waste that shit.
You have to go straight from the platform, from the ground to the platform, and then directly up. Like when the
You gotta
platform is
pop on
as
that
far
platform.
left as it gets.
Press
Yeah,
the ground.
You've already used too much water.
Okay, great. I mean, you guys are like 30 seconds behind me, so
yeah. You should be good this time. Except
Yeah. Well, nah.
I went the wrong way. But yeah. So,
Anyway,
I
yeah.
don't know.
According to How Long to Beat, if you want to get the main story plus the extra, which I'm assuming is like the looping the game a few times to get the kind of full story, It looks like it's like a 35-ish hour kind of game.
Yeah.
I don't know where I'm going to find the time to do that when I just started a new XCOM campaign.
Hit the wrong button.
Mike, has it occurred to you
how
that...
many hours have you played XCOM, Mike?
We can ask Steam, but I think officially my XCOM 2 counter is up to about 140 hours.
All right. Well, I don't feel sorry for you then. You're doing it to yourself. Like, you could play something else. It's fine.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm definitely glad that I didn't play Overwatch as much as last year or this year as I did last year, because it gave me time to play a lot of other stuff. So
Yeah.
This year might
but I mean,
have,
if you're
it
having
might have
fun,
been-
if you're having fun playing XCOM, that's fine. But I mean,
Well, honestly,
Well,
the real
let's
reason is
play
I
the
don't
new
think I'm gonna
hero
have fun with my 35 hours of Nier. Like I'm afraid that it's gonna be like
I actually think the combat in Nier is really pretty good. It's just the amount of
yeah, it's
time
alright.
it takes to get from point A to point B can be pretty frustrating. But the combat I think is quite good, and the other thing that really is obnoxious is you spend so much time running, and it's just like the whole time you're running you just are staring at 2B's panties the whole time. It's just like, I just don't need that. And like there's the whole objectification of
feel
women
bad about it
thing,
at
which
the
I
end?
don't like. You know, that's bad,
There.
obviously.
Did it.
But also for me, it's just there's something really insulting to me about being pandered to in that way. Like, I just feel
Yeah.
like like there's this like, you like this, don't you? I'm like, nah, I don't really like it that much. It's like her butt looks nice and that's great, but I don't need like constant panty shots for a 40-hour game. Like,
yeah, dude,
it's
we got
it's
the internet.
insulting to me. Yeah, it's just like, I don't know. I feel like I would like the standards to be a little bit higher. Like and maybe it's a game that actually has something interesting to say about sex or something meaningful to say about some of that stuff at some point. It seems like it might go that direction because the robots, like I've heard things about it, and also the robots are very much like aping human behavior in a lot of ways, and so that might be a thing that comes up. But at the same time, like me personally, I really despise feeling anytime I feel like I'm being pandered to by game developers. It really makes me angry. And also, like I said, it's just like, actually it's just bad that that this character that has maybe some interesting things to say is just like also this weird sex object that you have to stare at her white panties the whole time.
you don't like playing this walking real doll.
No. I mean, well, the thing is, like, the character design, other than the fact, like, if you could put pants on her, or you could just make it so that the camera didn't fucking pan down to give you the panty shot all the time, like, the character design is actually really good other than that. Like, I really like the way that she looks. I think it's just, like, the constant going down. The camera, like, as you're running, the camera sinks, so that way you have to look at her ass. And then when you want to take a rest on a bed, like it pans over the top so you can see like she's got like a slit up her skirt so you can see her panties from the front. It's just like
Nice.
It's just like so fucking obvious, and it's just completely unnecessary. I mean, I like if that's something that you're into, then that's totally fine. But I would like the option to not have to look at it all the time.
Right.
Unless, like I said, unless it is a thing that is like a part of the story or a part of the character, which doesn't really seem like it is. So
It's particularly disappointing because it seems like all the people that are drawn to this game for whatever reason are not in it for that reason.
right. I mean, I know that there's.
Yeah,
I can
doesn't
tell
have
you
to
from
be.
having played it 5 hours that there's a lot more to it than just that. But it's just like it's a thing that I'm thinking about constantly because you
Yeah.
do a lot of running in that game, and the whole time you're running, like I said, the camera is just like it's just like remember
Well,
how
that's what I mean,
distracting
like,
the camera
like the
on
people that are
Miranda's
making
butt
this
was
game-
in Mass Effect 2. It definitely feels like that to me. Like this game should be better than that. The people making this game have interesting things to say, and they don't need to like have the camera constantly leering at one of their own characters.
That's where I was coming from the other angle. It's like the people that are the reason everyone is trying this and talking about it.
Right.
Uh,
It's not just
Most
because of
of
the
the
dumb
people
cheesecake
saying that
stuff.
it's not because of like
Yeah.
panty shots.
Yeah.
I wonder, this game succeeded way beyond expectations of kind of anybody.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I wonder if he was maybe, pandering a little bit to the kind of anime fan set, just because he figured that those were going to be the 100,000 people who bought his game.
It's possible.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, I still would like
The
some
worst-
character customization options, so I didn't have to look at it all the time.
The worst scenario is that the producers like
Right. Well, I think that
looked at
she
it and
looks
gave them
like
a
that.
directive that like, hey, you can make the whatever this
Right.
fucking game is as long as you
No.
put panties in it, and then it like
No.
quadrupled sales from the last one.
No, the impression I get is that she looks like that because that is what Yoko Taro finds attractive. So like it's intentional on his part because that's what he wants to look at. Which is, like I said, that's
fair.
yeah, that's fine. But I personally don't want to have to look at it all the time. Like I said, I also feel like I'm
Yeah, like
pandering
thankfully,
to it,
like I don't
so-
have to look at Mario's jeans all the time because
'cause
being
you can
like
mix
his
and match.
boxers.
Actually,
Yeah.
I was gonna say the proper way to play this game is to equip these two particular items. This is how I finished the game. Whoops, not like this. This is I finished the game in clown hat and boxer shorts, and it really, to me, it really added a really like strong element of drama to the whole proceedings that took place at the very end of the game. It really heightened the tension.
I knew this game.
The tragedy is that mixing and matching, you don't, when you go 8-bit, it doesn't honor.
Yeah, I know.
So sad.
Still,
the fact that I can run around in boxer shorts and a clown wig, a rainbow wig with a clown hat is really
I
cool.
knew this game was good
That's
when
pretty
there's
good.
like that mid-game like cutscene where you get shot down into that like
and he
desert island.
stays on his clothes.
But there's like this story scene where Bowser's like doing his thing and laughing, and Mario's like shaking his fist and like he's getting all pumped up to fight him and stuff, and they're talking about how he's like a worthy adversary and all that bullshit.
Yeah.
And I was wearing the inflatable like duck around him and clown hair. And I was
yeah, that's how I felt at the end of the game. It's really good.
it was good.
Yeah. Anyway, another interesting thing about Nier is that it has an upgrade system similar to Steamworld Dig, where you like find these chips that you can upgrade, and you just have a certain number of points, and you can mix and match to sort of.
Can you
your
respec
character
at your
however
will?
Yep, you can respec anytime you want.
That's my new.
So it means you
that's my new
can-
favorite design feature.
Yeah, oh for sure. Like I said, ever since I played the first Borderlands game, I just wanted games that like gave you limited resources to upgrade, but also like let you respec basically at will. I just
I never
trying. It like really incentivizes you to experiment in a way that you don't if you're
I never got in like Diablo or World of Warcraft or whatever where you have to like pay a huge sum to respec.
right.
Well, in Diablo
Like
3,
you're
you
gonna
can
do it-
respec at any time, can't
Yeah,
you?
yeah, but
You
in
can't
Diablo
change
3,
classes, but you can respec.
I don't remember at
Yeah,
this
in Diablo
point.
3, there's no real character builds because it's not even like a respec. It's just like you can just change your shit whenever you want.
Right.
I kind of prefer games where there's a small but just meaningful
Right.
cost to respecking. Like in the later Etrian Odyssey games, you have to go back 2 levels to respec, which is really not very much in the grand scheme of things, but it is enough to make you just kind of take it seriously as you're building your character.
Right. Where you have to think about what your character is.
But I like
Is the thing that I care about. So like in
like
Diablo
in
3,
Steamworld,
the way it
I like
originally
in-
was, you could just change at will. And so it just didn't feel like you were building a character. It just felt like you were just like switching between skills, basically.
Right.
Whereas like
No, like-
Borderlands or Nier or Steamworld Dig, you kind of have to.
Yeah, I like the Steamworld the version of you can do it whenever
Yeah.
and it doesn't cost you anything, but there's a limited amount, so you still have to think about what you're building.
Right.
Because it lets me explore. Like, what if I like went all water like Mike, and then I realized correctly that was the wrong way to go, but
Understand how you
you know, it was too late.
You
Yeah,
can't go
exactly.
anywhere.
I agree. Anyway,
Anyways.
I think we can stop this now. I also feel like spending all that time getting this set up probably was better for an hour than just 30 minutes. But you got to see what Mario Odyssey would look like at like 20 frames a second. So if that was the thing,
I really like it.
about.
It gives it a distinct feel that I felt the game was missing.
Oh man. Anyway,
All right, so I
we'll
guess
be
that's
back
it
next
for
week.
tonight.
Yeah, we'll
We're
be back
gonna be
next
doing
week with
this
the
for a
next.
couple
Bye, everyone.
Yeah, we'll be doing this for 6 weeks. So happy holidays. We'll be back next week with more holiday cheer.
Bye.
Yay.